Hello everybody, I had somebody reach out to me and ask me if I could make them a wallet out of a squirrel. So this is something I've never done before, so there's going to be a good learning curve to it, I imagine. I haven't been able to find any videos or anything of anybody else making something like this, so I figured I'd document the process and see kind of what we come up with at the end. So I've got the squirrel here, and yeah, we'll see what we can come up with. I got the squirrel skin, so the next step is going to be to flesh it, get all the fat and the meat off of the hide, and also to split the tail. So I've got this little tail splitting guide. I don't even know if they make them anymore, but it works perfect for little guys like this because it fits right in there. And then it's just kind of a V trough, and you can just ride your knife right along that V real careful, and you don't have to worry about your knife going through and cutting through on the other side. Like that. Perfect. Okay, now we gotta flesh it. So the squirrels, honestly, the easiest way to flesh these things is get a squirrel board, which I have a few hundred of from the trap line, and then you either use just your knife if you're careful and kind of just pull straight down on that fat, or you grab a piece of paper towel, and that works really well too. It kind of grips that fat and pulls it right down and off. Okay, that's pretty much all I gotta do to flesh a squirrel. There's not a lot to them. The hide is super thin, so even if you do leave some meat or excuse me, some membrane or something on there, it usually dries pretty good anyway. So next thing we gotta do for this guy is tan it up, so I'll get set up for that and then we'll start doing that. So to tan this guy, we're using the orange bottle tan stuff. So first thing we got to do is salt it, and then come back. It says leave it 24 hours, but I'm pretty sure for a squirrel like this with thin leather, we can probably leave him just for a couple hours and then go on to the next step because he's such thin skinned. So we'll start with that. So I've got my table salt here. Turn that down. As you can see what I'm doing. And salt thoroughly. So we're just gonna coat this whole guy with salt. Lots and lots of it. Make sure everything has a real good coating of that. Get the tail opened up. Make sure it's got lots on it too. There. So I'll leave that for a couple hours and then we'll come back and go on to the next step. It's been a few hours. I've got the squirrel here. It's been quite salted. So the next step is to rinse it off with some water that's got Dawn dish soap in it to degrease it. For bigger, greasier hides, you definitely have to leave it overnight. For this guy, there's not a lot of grease in a squirrel anyway, so I'm not gonna leave him in there for too long. So he's soaked in the Dawn dish soap. I rinsed him off, dried him out partially. He's still somewhat wet, but not too wet. So the last step we gotta do now is to actually put the tanning solution on it. So spread that out, make sure we get the whole tail done. I got the front legs turned as inside out as I can get them. So pour this on there quite liberally. Work that all the way down, everything. Pop those front feet out, do that a little bit on the outside of them as well. Probably not super necessary. Squirrel feet dry out so good anyways, because there's not a whole lot to them, but it ain't gonna hurt anything. We'll go tomorrow morning and then we'll come out and we will start working this guy. Yeah, should work out pretty good. Got our squirrel sit overnight. We roll the tanning solution on it, so time to turn it back inside out. Start working that hide. Yeah, you just keep pulling on that hide gently. And this can take a while. I find you pretty well have to pull on it a bit, let it sit for a little while, pull on it again. You can see it's starting to turn white in a couple spots where the tan's going all the way through already. I find you pretty much have to pull on it, let it dry out for a little while longer, pull on it some more. As it dries, it absorbs that tanning solution into it. So we'll work this a bit, we'll hang it up and let it dry some more, and then go back at it again later today. Okay, so I've let this squirrel dry for a little bit more, and it's pretty much at the sweet spot now. You can see as soon as you pull it, that leather starts turning white like that. That's what you want to see. That's how you know that tan is starting to take in. So I'm going to keep working on this hide, and yeah, we'll come back when I'm done that. I got the hide fully worked, so you can see it's all turned to leather now. So next step I'm going to do is get this guy turned back first side out, give the fur a wash, because you can see it's kind of matted and not nicest. So we'll get that all cleaned up and fluffed up, and then we'll actually start turning this thing into a wallet. I'm ready to start mounting the head on this squirrel wallet. So I've made a foam head out of a mold from a different squirrel skull. I got the eyes set into it already. I had this guy sitting overnight in a plastic bag with a little bit of water sprayed into it, so he should be pliable enough to mount. So we'll get that started and see how it goes. Okay, so I tacked the zipper in place just trying to see how this is going to fit. I think this should work out pretty well. So I'm going to pull that zipper off and sew it on properly. And then I'll stitch it onto the actual squirrel. But this should work out pretty well. It's got a little, you can kind of see in there, a little bag made. So this should work out pretty good. Okay, so I got the bag all sewed up. It seems to work pretty good. So now I just gotta put that inside the squirrel, and then this thing is almost done, I think. Got her all pinned into place. I got the front legs filled out a little bit. So I'm gonna sew this thing up and we'll see how it works. Here's the final squirrel wallet. I got the back of the legs sewed back up, filled in the back legs a little bit and the front legs, make it look a little more lifelike. Zipper works good. Unlike the first zipper I used, it broke, which is a real pain having to replace that, but live and learn. Don't cheap out on your zipper. Pretty happy with the way this guy turned out for a first try. Definitely some things I'll do differently on the next one, but yeah, all in all a fun project, and probably be making a lot more of these in the future.